Welcome to Envision Life. I'm Dr. Philip Davis, and what a great show we have in store for you. You know, our economy has been a little difficult these days, and we've taken a hit in a lot of areas. First, there was the housing boom that went bust, and that happened as a result of the mortgage mess and the growing number of foreclosures, and that was both in residential and in commercial markets. Then bank failures and the cry of foul play because of the compensation packages of those in the banking investment arena. And that included some Wall Street firms. And then that was followed by massive bank bailouts, and then the automobile industry bailouts, insurance firms being bailed out, all with taxpayer money. In the meanwhile, Main Street still face double-digit layoffs and massive consumer debt, and still the mortgage mess and the home foreclosures, which seem to have sparked the economic recession, has yet to be addressed in a meaningful way. Well, listen. Today on Envision Life, we're going to tackle these and other questions with a couple of experts in the field of banking, asset management, securities, and investment, as well as in the field of real estate. You're going to want to take notes and listen carefully when we come right back. We're going to be talking with Mr. Charlie Williams and Mr. Walter Davis of Blue Ridge Holdings and its operating subsidiary, Integrated Capital Strategy. So don't you go away. We'll be right back after this message. Welcome back to Envision Life. I'm your host, Dr. Philip Davis. Our guests today on Envision Life are two extraordinary business executives who've built a solid reputation in the banking industry over the course of their careers. Both have held significant director and executive level posts with Bank of America and Wachovia Bank, respectively. Both are actively involved in civic affairs as well as connected to their local churches, and both are extremely competent and just exciting gentlemen to be around. Most of all, these are men of God with strong biblical, moral, and Christian values and roots. So I'm delighted to welcome to Envision Life today Mr. Charlie Williams and Mr. Walter Davis. Charlie, Walter, welcome to the show today.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you guys for coming. You know, here's what I want to ask you guys just right off the bat, because it just literally blows my mind. Before you got into the business that you're in now, both of you were highly sought out and well-connected executives in your respective banking industry. Both of you were doing well in what you did because you're good at it. Could have stayed there and rode out the train. What in the world would cause you to launch out away from successful careers in a down economy, in a recession, and launch out and do what you're doing now? Help me with that.
Well, I'll take the first shot at it. And the short answer is having a lot of faith in God. Mm-hmm. You have to have faith in order to step out. But let me take a step back and let you know that I think that between the two of us, we always had a view that we were going to move out and essentially start our own business. Mm-hmm. We didn't know exactly when we were going to do it, but we for 8 years, we had been talking about doing something special. Wow. And it almost became a real sort of a ritual. We would meet at the Pancake House in South Park every Saturday morning. Okay. And we didn't miss a Saturday. If you missed a Saturday, it was almost as if you missed a day of work.
That's right.
And we would sit there and talk about what we wanted to do. And I think that, along with pure opportunity, when the market started to turn, we saw a huge opportunity to do something special. And I would add some of your messages. You weren't shy about letting the congregation know that again, this is an opportunity for us to step out and do something special for ourselves, for Christ, and for our communities. Right. And so all of that hit home for me. And again, when the right time came, we jumped at it.
Wow.
Walter, you have a
Well,
Yeah, no, not a different view. I would say that from my perspective, I've always had an entrepreneurial bent.
okay.
It goes all the way back to my grandfather. I
Yeah.
spent a lot of time with him as I was growing up, and back in Greenville, South Carolina.
Right.
He
I
had,
still think we're relatives. We got to check.
you know, I keep telling my dad that, and he wants to have that conversation. But my grandfather had the only black-owned service station in Greenville.
Wow.
He had a black-owned grocery store. All the while he worked at his same job in a textile plant, but he was proud of himself because he never used his hands.
Okay.
Always used his brain, and he always used to tell me, if you want to work with for someone, that's okay.
Right.
But you really eventually want to work for yourself. And that's where the true freedom comes in, to really do what you want to do.
Okay.
And so for me, it was just a matter of time, quite frankly. And then probably 14, 15 years ago, Charlie and I met.
Okay.
And as he said, over about 8-year period, we really talked about what we wanted to do. And when you find someone who's like a brother to you
Yeah.
and a true friend,
Right.
then you know what? It makes that leap a lot easier,
Sure.
especially when you have faith in the first place.
Wow, that's interesting because, you know, the Bible does talk about can two walk together unless they are agreed. And it seems like you guys have a tremendous chemistry when it comes to, yet you had, while you had similar backgrounds, your expertise were in different arenas. Talk a little bit about the background and the expertise that you brought to the table and to this team.
Well, I'll jump in here and let you know that I was always a Wall Streeter.
Okay.
I spent about 14 years on Wall Street before I joined one of the larger banks down here in Charlotte. But I worked at some of the larger firms there and had a pretty prominent role in actually cleaning up a lot of the issues that you would hear about from time to time on Wall Street. And then I was, again, after being recruited down to Charlotte, even then, you know, I did a lot of work in the investment bank, again, at one of the larger banks. I was actually the chief operating officer and helped run the investment bank. But I also did a stint over in what we call risk management.
Right.
So I actually ran the largest portion of risk management for the bank that I was at. And again, it was a real eye-opener. It gave me an opportunity to really understand how the broader bank works.
Sure.
And so those skills, coupled with the Wall Street experience I had, really helped me prepare well enough to do some of the things that I'm doing today.
Wow.
So, you know, a little different than Walter.
Yeah.
But.
Walter, tell me a little bit about your journey there.
My skills are complementary to Charlie's, I say. I'm a traditional Southern banker.
All right.
I say that, you know, I started my career in Greenville, South Carolina. And I was a commercial middle market banker.
Okay.
And when I started out, there weren't many blacks who were middle market commercial bankers. And so I always wanted to be whatever the best was. So I started my career that way. And I probably spent the first 6.5 years doing that. And then I started moving around within the bank. Not many banks. I only worked for 3 banks in my career. But I did a lot of different things, from developing real estate within the bank to community development banking to actually doing a stint over in investment banking with Charlie. And then with Wachovia, I was asked to come in and run essentially the consumer and small business portfolio. I had the true operational side of it. I had the originations, the servicing, the loss mitigation, responsible for all the collections of the loans, etc., for the bank, corporate-wide, as well as had operations overseas in the Philippines and in India. And so it was an opportunity for a traditional Southern banker to get some real global exposure and opportunities and experiences there. And so when Charlie and I talk about it, there's not a lot in a bank that we haven't touched between the two of us. That's what makes the skills complementary and so great. Right.
I'm just excited about the story and how that thing merges and how you guys come together. Let me talk a little bit with you. When we think of bank, we think typically from a layman's perspective of the consumer bank, the local shop. We walk in, we know the manager and things of this nature. You guys have formed a bank holding company, Blue Ridge Holding, and talk a little bit about the difference and what it is you guys will be doing and what specifically that means to the average person out here. Well,
and again, I'll jump in anytime, Walter, but Blue Ridge Holdings is a bank holding company. And essentially what Blue Ridge Holdings is designed to do is to buy banks. Mm-hmm. So those traditional banks that you just mentioned, again, those are the types of organizations or financial institutions that we'll be acquiring. But there's a little twist to what we're doing. Okay. We have the opportunity to buy both what we call open or banks that are currently operating. Mm-hmm. But we also have the opportunity to buy banks that have failed, that have gone into receivership, that the FDIC needs to sell to willing buyers, because when they do take these banks into receivership, it costs them quite a bit of money to maintain those banks. So they're looking to get new capital into the banking system. Okay. And so that what we did was we actually, and I'm proud to say that we just closed on a capital raise, and we raised $501 million. That's basically a $500 million to actually acquire banks. Wow. So more to come on that, but it's pretty exciting.
That's exciting. That's exciting.
The only thing I would add to that is that as a bank holding company, you have an opportunity to do a few other things as well. Okay. And in the beginning, you talked about our operating subsidiary, Integrated Capital Strategies. Exactly. That is the first company that Charlie and I formed back almost a year ago now, Charlie. Okay. What we decided was that we were going to look at all of the distressed assets out there, both in government as well as financial institutions, and how we could actually work those assets to be profitable and to be better. Okay. And we knew that eventually we wanted to buy banks. Sure. And what do a lot of these failing banks have? Distressed assets. And so we decided that was always a part of the strategy. And so Integrated Capital Strategies will be a part of the bank holding company, but it will be separate from the bank. Okay. It will continue to do work for third parties like other financial institutions, as well as the government, as well as nonprofits involved in financial services, as well as for the bank itself. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So you guys are not looking to open a shop where a person comes in and do their consumer banking, but you will buy those consumer banks and, if I can use a layman's term, just go in and straighten them out and make them profitable.
That's right.
That's right.
Put them back on the market.
That's right.
Well, I think we're going to.
I don't know about back on the market.
Okay. We're going to buy the banks. We're going to run the banks. We're going to grow the banks. And you know, the trick is to really put together something special that will gain market share. Okay. You know, it's competitive in the banking world, and we think we have what we call our secret sauce. All right. To really sort of make banking better for everyone, for both consumer and commercial customers. So we're gonna string banks together, and we're gonna essentially grow the banks. Wow. And with the capital that we raised thus far, we could literally buy a bank that has assets in the neighborhood of $5 billion. Okay. Okay. Man, that is some exciting things. So I'll look forward to those days coming. It's going to be some exciting things. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about the mortgage industry and, you know, some of your thoughts about, you know, what can be done about some of the things that's happening in the mortgage industry today. Associated Press reported that the Obama administration's efforts to help those who were going into foreclosure, that program is falling flat. And, you know, what are some of the things that can be done? We'll be right back to talk about that and some other things that pertains to the entire economic picture of the nation and where you guys think we're going. I appreciate what you're talking about. Listen, you stay tuned and we're going to be right back after these messages.